touches upon the valid question, Eric. I feel that this weight room is going to reap very many possibilities here on Clay Center's athletic program. First of all, for example, take our hip sled. This is our newest addition to our weight room equipment, and I think this is going to be a great help in building up the thighs and leg muscles for our athletic program. So does Gary Fate here. I think the general consensus of the student body is a very positive one, and I just think it's a really nice addition to our weight room. Good question, Eric. You can shut the camera off.
That you just asked me was very nice, and I think the weight room would do a heck of a lot of good for our sports programs, considering if we could get the girls in here to lift weights, because it would help them out tremendously. And our new addition to the hip sled is the hip sled. Well, I think it'll do a lot of good for our jumping ability in basketball and track and high jump, and it should help us out a lot.
Beneficial to all athletes in all athletic sports. I feel in the next 2 or 3 years we'll be properly prepared to play sports, and we'll have better and more successful sport teams.
It helps you come in here and relax after school, and you just want to get all your feelings outside and really work up, and it's really going to be good for our next year's sports. It really helps us get a little more muscular and feels a lot better about ourselves, and I really think this is a great new addition. Plus our Pee Wee Wrestling crew has been buying us some new weights, and a lot of new weights and a new hip sled, and I hope they continue to buy this stuff for us, and our school continue to buy some new equipment along with it.
New additions to the weight room, such as the hip sled machine and the new squat bar that we have acquired. It will help us tremendously in our not academic, but our athletic achievements for Clay Center High School.
Come on, let's go get 5, go 2.5 to fly.
my God, Shelly! Shelly, you're back!
president of the Historical Society in Clay Center, Mr. Ralph Gottle, and I'm going to be talking to him today about the old schoolhouse east of Clay Center, Nebraska. It's going to be moved into Clay Center, and it's going to be part of the museum. Ralph, I got some questions here for you.
No.
Was this school here, the schoolhouse here itself, was this the original place that it was put at? I have Aloris Yeager, and she taught out at the Illinois school. Nice to have you with us, Alice.
Thank you.
I have some questions for you, if you can answer them. And first question I have for you is, how did you get the job working out at the Illinois school?
Well, first I took normal training, and during my 11th and 12th years of school, and we had to take tests on the subjects that we were going to teach, and that was state tests, and we took those tests with the county superintendent, and after we passed them, our name was put on the list to be eligible to teach. A member of the school board contacted me, and I accepted in 1947.
Okay. How long did you teach at the school?
I taught 2 years.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids attended the school at that time?
At that time, there were 6. You want the names?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Karen and Jerry Peterson, Anna Marie and Norma Whitty, Royce Mack, and Carol Blumen.
Were they all in the same grade?
They were in grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8.
Okay. And what grades did you teach? Were they in the grades that you did teach? All of them? Okay, I see. What were...
To interview Marilyn and Ray Sampson. Okay. Where were you born?
I was born in Chanute, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas. That makes us both Jayhawkers, doesn't it?
Yeah. Where did you live as a child?
Oh, gee. I lived in Emporia, Kansas, and Chase, and DeSoto, Missouri, and Lewis, Kansas.
I lived on a farm just south of Wichita.
Okay. What did you do as a child?
What did I do? Oh, I went to school, and I was in Girl Scouts. Not 4-H.
I guess I was a 4-H member. I worked on the farm when I was a kid. We plowed with horses. Walked to school a mile and a quarter. I was in 4-H. We had all kinds of livestock projects, and including baking. Mother taught us how to cook, and one year when 4-H projects didn't turn out too good, I was the county champion bread baker. Some of my cousins were a little embarrassed over that because they were females.
Okay. Where did you go to school?
Cheers.
To Riverside District 136, the country school. 2-room school.
And I went to school in Emporia for kindergarten and Chase, Kansas until 8th grade. And then I went to DeSoto, Missouri as an 8th grader and freshman. And oh, I forgot to tell you, I lived in Offerley, Kansas 1 year and graduated from Lewis High School.
Okay. How long did you attend your school?
Well, the Riverside Country School was only to the 8th grade. And then we had Roosevelt Intermediate, which was in Wichita. It was the 9th grade. And 10th, 11th, and 12th was at Wichita East High School. Well, I attended.
That was way back. Sorry. Oh no.
Cut that out.
Please. Go ahead, honey.
I understand you have an antique store now, right?
Yes, we sure do, honey. Grandpa and I both. On the main street, downtown Clay Center.
Did you really want it for like a long time? Did you plan it? And
I have always loved antiques, but I just have never really done a lot with it. But when I married Grandpa, he was an antique buff, so we kind of got together and we just kind of worked out. And then when I retired from Hastings, from J.C. Penney's in Hastings, then we planned to have it opened more.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for asking us.
Can we expect a check in the mail?
To start off the questions, I'd like to ask Mr. Floyd Burkett, how long have you lived here and what do you like about this town?
I like everything about the town. I've lived here since 1913.
And Clay, you said since 1913, right?
1913.
Wait, were you born here in Clay Center or did you move?
I was born in Fairfield. And I went to school there 2 years and moved to Illinois in 1900. And I come back here in 1913. Come back to Clay Center. I've lived here ever since.
Okay. And then, what could you tell us about your parents? What were they like?
Oh, they were just ordinary people, hard-working people. They were farmers. My father was a blacksmith at Fairfield.
Well, we don't have any more comments. If you'd like to add anything.
I don't think of anything now.
Okay, I'd like to say thanks to Floyd Burkett and so long from Jeff and the Clay Center
For a speech project. And
we're here to interview Mr. and Mrs. Pettigene. And if we could get to the first question, where were you two born at?
You mean what town?
Yeah.
The town by the name of Stanford, Nebraska. Way down on the Republican River. 120 miles west. This is the same area.
I likewise, I was born in the same area, same.
And since that time, there's been a little bit at the University of Arizona. There's been quite a bit down here at Hastings College, quite a bit at community college. But I think probably I could even raise up a course down at the University of Nebraska if I look deep enough.
What stands out in your mind about teaching at Clay Center?
That's a pretty rough one. That's a pretty rough one. I think possibly the informality over, I as a teacher had the freedom to do what I thought was the best to do in the classroom. I didn't have to go check first to see if it was all right with the power to be someplace. I think it was freedom to teach, as I knew how to teach rather than be told how to do it. It stands out more in Clay Center than anything else.
Well, that's all the questions we have today. And I'd really like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Pettigene for letting us come over here and interview him.
And we're here for our 10th grade speech class. Today we're going to be interviewing Kent's dad, Carl Schuler.
I'll start with questioning. Carl, where did you spend most of your childhood?
My childhood was spent like out on the farm 5 miles west of Harvard. I attended grade school out there, and then I went to high school in Harvard.
Harvard. So you've been in this area most of your life?
Yes, I have.
Did you know anybody from Clay Center, like when you were in Harvard? Did you ever?
Yeah, I knew like Jerry Kinnan and a few of the guys that are still around here, and Fleshner and a few others.
Alright. Like when you're at school, how did your homework compare with today's homework?
I don't think there's much change really in the homework from then as it is now, as far as I know.
It's a little less history to do.
Could be.
Can you tell us about any of your high school teachers? Do you remember them? Or?
I remember one of them specifically because she still lives here in Clay Center. She was originally from Sutton, and that's Mrs. Wilma Noka. Wilma Noka was my music teacher and also English teacher when I was in high school in Harvard.
Did you go out for any sports?
I was out for football.
Do you remember any of the games?
I remember when we got beat by Sutton. Harvard had a winning streak of 30-some games straight. And we broke that tradition when I was a junior in high school playing Sutton. I think it was maybe one of our last games of the season. It was an afternoon game.
So does that include, did you play Clay Center then on the schedule? Or?
Yeah, Clay Center was one of our schedule. The towns around the surrounding area, like Deshler and Damport, Edgar, about the same as they are now. The only thing is we didn't have buses in those days. Harvard wasn't consolidated at that time, and they still had country schools around, and we went to the game by cars, by folks' cars.
What year did you graduate?
1950.
How did you spend most of your summers when you were still in high school?
Well, they were spent out on the farm working for my dad.
Did you have to do a lot of work out there?
Oh yeah, we worked the crops and combined and thrashed. It went a lot slower than it did today. We didn't have that many acres compared to what they have nowadays. We had like 160 acres, but we did some custom combining for the neighbors around, and they helped us, and then they'd help us back. And as kids, we all kind of had a job. There was 3 of us boys. One of them ran the tractor, and brother and I, we did the truck, and Dad ran the combine.
What was your first job? Can you remember?
My first job away from home was working for the alfalfa mill. You know where that's out here on Highway 6. I went out there. I pulled trailers and then also ran choppers before I quit there and went to work for the job I have now.
How long have you been working for the job you have now?
37 years last December. Started December of '51.
Just right out of high school.
What was your first car? Do you remember that?
First car I had was a '29 Chevy. And then I graduated up afterwards to some other cars.
Like what?
Well, when I got my own money, that was kind of a spin-off from my brother's. And that '29 Chevy, then I bought, the first one I really got out and bought myself was a 32 Buick. And from there I went to a 41 Buick.
What was the fastest car you had?
Probably the 41 Buick was probably the fastest car that I owned.
How fast did you drive it?
It'd go over 100 miles an hour. I'm not going to tell you anymore, but it'd go 50 miles an hour. 50 in low, 80 in second.
That's a little fast. Do you remember when you got your first TV? You still on the farm then? Or?
Well, TV came in when I was in the service. I was over in Korea or Japan at the time when television came in effect. Folks had one when I got home. I really didn't know what TV was because they didn't have it over in Japan at that time. Now look, they're the ones that are really making them.
It's true.
What was your favorite show when you started watching it?
I think the Beverly Hillbillies or the Real McCoys.
You remember listening to the radio and stuff in the afternoon?
Right, we did a lot of radio listening, and that went on. Well, there would be certain programs that come on, you'd tune in every week for them.
What kind of music did you like?
I like country western music, but there weren't very many stations around here that played country western music. It was mostly modern music or whatever. But there was like one in Dalleria, Texas. You used to be able to get it after dark.
Do you remember listening to KMJ or?
Right, I can remember listening to KMJ and being in the studio when the studio was here in Clay Center. I was just a little kid, but I can still remember walking up a gangplank that they had. You had to go up to get into the studio. They had programs, you could go up there and watch. And we came over here because we did shopping here, and also we went to a doctor here. Dr. Cottrell used to be here.
What was your favorite radio program at programs back then?
I think probably my favorite was Red Scout, or our favorite McGee and Molly. Some of those were on, and Bob Hope was on. They ran right in. One would be over with, and then another one would start on Sunday evening. They start like Jack Benny at 6 o'clock and right on through until 10 o'clock.
What did you really enjoy about them? Were they funny or?
Oh yeah, they were funny. You can still get them every once in a while. They have recorded those or put them on, and every once in a while somebody will put them on radio and you'll be able to hear them.
Did you fight in any wars? You said you're in the military.
I was drafted in 1953, and they signed the armistice with in the Korean armistice while I was in basic training. I went to Korea anyhow, and we were set up just like we was going to start fighting anytime anyhow. It was like it was going to start up all over again. I was there a year, and then our division was transferred to Japan, and I spent 3 months in Japan, and then came back to the States and was discharged.
What was your highest rank?
Staff sergeant.
What's he do?
Well, at the time when I was staff sergeant, we didn't do much of anything on account of when I made sergeant was when we were transferred to Japan, and we didn't have any equipment in Japan. We were there, so we really didn't have much to do by the 3 months we were there. To continue about that a little bit on, when I came home, it was a mistake on Pentagon by transferring that division that we were in to Japan, and they had to send them back to Korea again. So it was probably $1 million foul-up. It took 3 months to get them all transferred, to get everything all packed and shipped over when you're shipping that many people and equipment.
When did you marry Arvira?
In 1967, we were married out in Riverside, California, in Mission Inn. That same place President Nixon was married.
How did you go about meeting her?
I met her, I guess through maybe her work, whatever. I met her in Grand Island.
Did a friend introduce you, or you just start talking?
Yes, I think, yeah. A friend introduced me to her. That's how we got going.
Were you around during Prohibition?
No, that was, well, I was born when Prohibition ended. Prohibition started in 1920 and ended in 1933. The reason I know this because we found an old bottle and we brought the subject up, so we had to do some research on to find out when Prohibition was. I think this is one of the bottles that they used back in Prohibition days to transport illegal booze.
Where'd you find that bottle at?
It was found by my wife's nephew's, or my wife's niece's husband, in an old house in Kennesaw where the city was tearing down, and it was underneath part of the old house.
Do you have any other kids besides Ken?
I have a girl that's a freshman in college in University of Omaha.
Do you have any pets right now? Or?
No pets. I had a dog, Boston Bull Terrier, and that was kind of heartbreaking when finally I had to have him put to sleep about 6, 7, 8 years ago. We had him for probably 10 years or more because he was like 16, 17 years old, and decided that's enough pets for a while, maybe someday again. But it was awful hard to have one that long and have to have it put to sleep.
Was that your favorite pet you've ever had in your lifetime?
I think so. I had pets and we had them. I guess they didn't really belong to anyone in particular, but we had them out on the farm, always cats and dogs.
What do you do right now for like hobbies or anything?
I like
Play golf or anything?
No, I like to take care of my yard and mess around with my cars and pickups, and I collect pins, writing pins that have advertisement on them, and also beer steins and a few other things.
How many pins would you say you have?
I have a collection of probably between 1,500 and 2,000.
That's really interesting.
It really helped my collection about 5, 6 years ago. Pete Salesman, that was from the town where my wife's mother lives, I got to know him, and he gave me his collection, and that was like a shoebox and maybe a couple cigar boxes full of, so that really adds to your collection.
You was talking about your wife's mother. Do you remember much about your parents?
Oh, sure. I have many years with them.
What kind of people were they? Were they just
Farm people, good people, just conservative, you might say, what you might say compared to the people today.
Did you have like a picture show in town you ever went to, or?
There was a picture show. I went to the one here in Clay Center years ago. You probably know where that was at. You don't know. Well, it was across from the bank to the north, where the bank is now. There was one in Harvard. It was about in the center of the street on the west side. Worth Hastings had some too. We used to go, and the folks would go shopping when we were kids, like on a Saturday afternoon. There was always westerns, usually on Saturday afternoon, and comics.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 3 brothers.
How old are they?
I can't tell you the age. I have an older brother that lives in Lincoln, works for the railroad, then myself, then a brother in California that works for a landfill right in the Bay Area up in San Francisco, and a younger brother that farms over to Harvard and drives a school bus.
Do you mind Kent's friends when they all come over and ride around your lawn and stuff with the motorcycles?
Well, sometimes it kind of gets out of hand, and I have to go out there and crack the whip a little, especially when they start making U's out there and throwing the gravel off my driveway. Otherwise, most of the time they're pretty good guys, and I can handle it.
I'm sure they don't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Well, that pretty much sums up our questioning, but do you have anything you want to tell us about something we didn't?
I think you pretty well covered it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for coming down today and interviewing with us here on CCTV.
Sam Townsend will assist head coach Kent Lawson in presenting the medals to the Clay Center Wildcats. The championship medals go to Gary Fate, Bruce Canterbury, Joe Guerra, Dallas Dobnik, Daniel Bravo, Darcy Burkhart, Lee Fortune, Bob Wilkerson, Kurt Wilkerson, Todd Brim, Scott Anderson. Scott Bedlin. Jim Hayes. Alan Hagemeyer. Jim Malone. Scott Porter. Logan Dana. Aaron Birkland. Dave Dearborn. Rich Einspar. Justin Vike. Jamie Heine. Chris Redline. Corey Robertson. And last but not least, Dakin Christensen. Sam Townsend will now present the championship trophy to head coach Kent Lawson.